In this introductory chapter, we survey the big picture of California politics. Many observers claim the Golden State is no longer the land of milk and honey, yet it continues to draw newcomers from the four corners of the earth. Why the differences in perception? The answer is in the diversity of California and how it is governed. This chapter covers those two subjects. We'll be looking at how diversity explains California politics, how political theory and hyperpluralism explain California politics, and the ironies of our diversity. There are two approaches to understanding California politics. First, as we said, the state's remarkable diversity. And second, a set of theories that political scientists use to explain aspects of American politics generally. To answer the question, who governs California, four theories have emerged. Democratic theory says the people do, usually through elected representatives. Elite theory claims that the upper classes exercise power and influence beyond their numbers. Pluralist theory contends that groups compete for power and policy advantage. Hyperpluralism, an emerging theory, contends that so many groups now compete and the political system is so complex that governing can become most difficult. Although these theories seem incompatible, each helps to explain aspects of California politics. Evidence of hyperpluralism in California is growing. Let's first look at how diversity explains California politics. Look at land, regions, resources, people, and economy. For the land, the state's diversity has been its strength. The sheer size of the state. California covers the distance between New York City and Jacksonville, Florida. The land varies from temperate coastal plains to rugged mountain ranges, from lush agricultural valleys to barren deserts. People divide California into several regions, but these regions seem to be a matter of perception. Some divide the state into north and south. Others see multiple and diverse regions. People can see anywhere from 4 to 14 distinct regions. In public opinion surveys and election analysis, you generally find these regions broken up. The coastal areas being more liberal and democratic. Those are the LA, San Francisco areas. And inland areas being more conservative and Republican. That would be the Central Valley and the Orange County Inland Empire. California is rich in resources, especially water and desirable climate. Remember, for your exam, water is the state's most precious resource. The climate, number of impacts on the state. Predictable weather, help movie producers, farmers have several harvests a year. Developers and contractors can have less weather-resistant construction. The people. California is diverse with its people. Diversity and growth characterize our demographics. Latinos this year will become a plurality. That means there will be more Latinos than any other group. Large population of non-Hispanic whites, significant populations of African Americans and Asian Americans. Our economy is diverse. California is the 9th largest economy in the world. We're in a stage known as post-industrialism. It's characterized by large and growing service sector, rapid change, innovation, and advanced technology. Our economy is constantly changing, from the gold rush to the expansion of railroads, rise of a manufacturing sector, and the technological revolution. We have a diverse workforce, many economic sectors, and we have a multi-tiered workforce that leads to income inequality. There are highly educated, well-paid employees in tech and knowledge-intensive businesses, and lower-paying, low-status service jobs. Let's take a look at how political theory explains California government. Democratic theory, that the answer to the question who governs is all of us. Two forms of democracy. First, participatory, rule by many, and the second, which you'll need to know, a representative democracy, rule by a few. And the evidence of democratic theory in California, initiative process, frequent elections, and elected legislative bodies at both the state and local level. The elite theory says that all societies naturally divide into two classes, the few who rule and the many who do not. Evidence of class power in California, the Big Four, the machine back in the early days of California, major campaign contributors, policy entrepreneurs. This theory cannot fully explain California politics, though, because voters rejected business efforts to suspend the global warming law in 2010, impose higher taxes on multi-state corporations in 2012. Pluralist theory. American politics is group politics. It's a fluid process of competing interests, winning or losing, rising or falling. It's an amazing breadth of interest groups in California. But not all politics can be labeled group politics. For instance, group competition alone doesn't explain the rise of policy entrepreneurs like Howard Jervis, the anti-tax movement, and Richard Lee in the marijuana movement. Hyperpluralism suggests that power is thinly scattered, not just widely or unevenly scattered as other theories suggest. In this theory, exercise of power has become a highly competitive tug-of-war between institutions, policymakers, political parties, numerous interest groups, and voters. And here's how hyperpluralism explains California politics. The constancy of individualism. Individualism is the key tile in the mosaic of California politics. We have an individualist society. It's the dependence on self rather than on the society to fulfill your wants and needs. You join interest groups. You live in gated communities. Solitary rush hour commutes. Low voter turnout is an element involved in this individualism. We have a diversity of interests and cultures, a wide range of civic engagement by groups. We see single-issue politics, where public policy issues are viewed in narrow terms, and those who hold those views hold them with more determination. We see increased group conflict in California, which means a decreased potential for broader intergroup consensus. We have fading majoritarianism, a changing nature of majority rule. The reality is minorities' role in California. A small number of individuals and groups set legislative agendas and determine which issues make it to the ballot. You see a small percentage of Californians who qualify to vote actually register, even a smaller percentage turn out on election day, and only a simple majority of that small percentage determine election outcomes. Our political structure invites political conflict. Our state's constitution predestines power struggle among executive, legislative, and judicial branches. By dictating certain rules for local governments, that guarantees a vertical power struggle between locals and states. And the initiative process allows voters to make policy and circumvent or contradict the legislature they elected. The ironies of our diversity. California is both a policy innovator and a laggard. We're an innovator with Prop 13, 3 strikes legislation, medical marijuana legislation, but we lag in infrastructure and education spending. Policy generosity of the electorate and government is cyclical, contested, and ambivalent. We can see record budget surpluses one year, record deficits not that long afterward. And what we see is policy progress at the local level. Cities and counties are finding innovative ways to raise needed revenue because the state isn't providing those resources. That's a quick overview of Chapter 1 of the California text. Good luck in your quiz.